My name is Austin Zest. Welcome to the Tribal Brotherhood of the Blue Line. Did you know that about 51% of men in their 20s and 30s right now are single and they're stuck in isolation? Now, here's the thing. In contrast, lions in the wild, as you see, I'm got lions all over. They work together. And what happens to humans, though, when we don't work together, when they go through their life alone? Well, we're going to kind of dive into that and see how we can live a little bit more like lions, and why this tribal brotherhood is like a pride of lions in some way, or at least more like a brotherhood of lions who have their own, prides, right? And so basically, I've really experienced isolation firsthand a lot. It was like a coping mechanism in a lot of ways from trauma and stuff. And I always sort of, I didn't know, because of trauma of maybe not being my true self in certain situations, I would hide and isolate because that was easier to be alone, right? And be stuck. Now, here's the thing though. This is some stats. 1 in 5 men report not having a single friend, according to YouGov poll. That is crazy, man. So that means who becomes your friend? The pornography. Who becomes your friend? The video games. Who becomes your friend? Some AI, chick. Who becomes your friend? The OnlyFans. Who becomes your friend? Bad people, bad friends who really don't have your best interest too. Been there as well. So also 35% of men who experience loneliness also report feeling depressed. Well, obviously, because we're social creatures. We're meant to, we're not meant to be so isolated and like that. Loneliness is linked to a 26% increase in early death, similar to the health risks of smoking 15 cigarettes a day. So this is crazy, guys. Like this is all pretty fresh statistics, and this wasn't always the case. Male suicides in the UK and the US, 75% of suicides are male, and this epidemic is partially driven by isolation. Hence, welcome to this tribe. You're not going to be isolated anymore, okay? Porn addiction, pornography addiction. Men who are isolated often turn to destructive habits like porn. Gaming and social media dependency. We're scrolling. We're addicted to scrolling. It is crazy. We're wasting our lives. I feel a gut instinct sometimes every time I'm like stuck on that scrolling too. I am completely wasting my life. I'm cucking. I'm seeing other people living their life while I'm not. Well, all that's going to change for you. You don't have to live like this anymore, and we're changing together on this channel, okay? Now, so the thing is, these pornography addiction, it really leads to lack of a real connection. These habits increase stress, they increasing anxiety and further isolation. When it creates like a vicious cycle, and it's not a good one. It's not a good cycle. Really. We want something like that. We want family. We want to be the kings of our jungles. We want to be the kings of our domains. And isolation is not how you get there. You know what I mean? Isolated men are less likely to succeed in business and struggle in relationships. A lack of confidence, emotional suppression, and fear of vulnerability all contribute to stalled personal and professional growth. That is crazy because, we're taught in the society, hey, keep it to yourself. Even if you're like a weak beta, right? Even if you're feeling weak and stuff, you're still not like supposed to talk about your vulnerabilities and all that stuff. And I also recommend don't talk about them too, like with your mom, and don't talk about, maybe once in a while, or with if you do have a girlfriend, or you're talking to women online, don't talk to it about them. Talk to a brotherhood. Talk to some guys who understand it and who get it and work through it. That's just a recommendation. Isolated men are, we also end up doing just bad things. We mostly hurt ourselves. We can end up hurting other people too for too isolated, but we a lot of the times end up hurting ourselves. Now, here's the lessons from lions, actual lion pride. So lions in the wild live in prides, right? These are groups that work together, they hunt, and they protect their territory, and they raise their young. Lions that form coalitions of 2 to 3 males have a coalition success rate of 50% in protecting territory, compared to the solos who have 0% success rate. So, that kind of compares to the lion versus the, other type of animals in the jungle, tigers and stuff. Male lions are often form lifelong bonds within their coalition. So together they are better hunters and stronger protectors. If one lion is injured, others step in to defend or provide food. That is really serious. So That is a very important thing. I live here in South America. I've lived here for 4 years, kind of in a tribal jungle, where that is true. People, like the family that I have now, they kind of really look out for each other and watch out for each other in a lot of ways. There's positive and negative to that, but there is a good thing about being independent and stuff. But what I'm trying to teach is like a mix. The good things that I found down here in South America in the kind of tribal living, and the good things about independence kind of mixed together. We need like a rounding of both, a good balance. So lions who live alone, usually nomadic males, face severe risks. They often die younger because they cannot hunt as efficiently or defend themselves from rival males. So real life, it's like a metaphor, right? Just like solitary lions, men who isolate themselves, they face way more challenges. They have fewer resources and are more vulnerable to life's difficulties. So I know it's lions, but there's a lot of comparison between lions and humans because they're actually very social animals, unlike some of the other animals. So, when men form supportive brotherhoods, they thrive emotionally, professionally, and personally. Without a tribe, you can say what you want about all these dark, brotherhoods or whatever, or the Masons and all that stuff around the world, but they're successful because they have brotherhood, and because they're not isolated. It's like very hard to be successful when you're just isolated on your own. So without a tribe, isolation can lead to emotional starvation, lack of purpose, and overall vulnerability. Here's the challenges of like solitary lions. Tigers, for example, they live alone and they have to do everything themselves, making them more vulnerable to accidents, illness, and predators. Interesting, huh? That's why this is the king of the jungle. And we live in kind of a jungle. We live in maybe a concrete jungle, or if you're in the country, a country kind of jungle. We kind of live in that, really. Men without support systems like lone tigers are prone to burnout, depression, and anxiety. They lack the emotional and practical support that would help them to recover from setbacks, okay? Men are less likely to reach out for help, with only 25% of those seeking professional mental health services being men. So a very small percentage of us actually seek help. I've seeked out a lot of help in my life. I've learned how to not be afraid to do that, and it's helped me a lot with various addictions and various mental issues too that I had in the past when I was younger. And reaching out for help, calling out for help, it makes you stronger. It doesn't mean do that all the time. Instead, you have to learn how to do some things on your own. But, anyway, when I lived in an indigenous tribe here, I realized that the strength that comes from a strong brotherhood. So everybody has like a role, and nobody's really left to struggle alone. So like the homeless rate here is almost non-existent. I don't see anybody homeless on the street. Yes, is there alcoholism? Yes, is there addiction? Yes, is there issues? Absolutely. But however, there are other issues like, when like for example, they're not going to bust down the door if you can't pay the rent. They'll give you some leniency. This person here. That's okay. It really helps like who and all that stuff. Just kind of like a lion tribe. It's like, man, something similar. Maybe it's not, but you guys kind of understand what I'm saying. I'm pretty new at making this YouTube thing, so forgive me if I'm not like super dead on every little thing that I'm doing. I'm learning, I'm growing too, So Western culture is hyper-individualistic, leading men to be self-sufficient, which often leads to isolation. And in contrast, indigenous cultures, like where I live, they stress teamwork and shared responsibilities and collective growth. So there's, like I said, in another video, I'll go into the pros and cons of that. But I see a lot of pros. Like I see a lot of what's going on here where I live is what is lacking up there in the U.S. It really is. So we need a balance of the two. We need, some individualistic mindset and questioning things that are kind of difficult down here. There is sort of like a mentality here that, don't question too much. But yeah. Over 50% of men in their 20s and 30s are single but aren't ready for relationships because they lack direction and confidence. Well, before fighting a party, they need to build their foundation both mentally and emotionally. This is what I am inviting you into this brotherhood, to help you to grow. And when you grow, you will be like a vibrational match to a good woman who's there, who's going to be your proper match. But when you're kind of low there, it's going to be hard, and you're going to attract like the same bad, kind of like you're in a low vibe. You attract bad friends. You attract people who use you. You know what I mean? Borderline abuse you. you'll attract the same thing in a relationship until you're ready, until you're at least, have gone some foundation blocks. So you don't have to be perfect. Nobody's got to be perfect. But you do deserve love. You do deserve understanding. You do deserve somebody, who wants to grow with you. That's absolutely right. So here's the power of a tribe. A man with a tribe behind him, okay, a tribe is stronger, more confident, and self-reliant. He enters relationships as a whole and balanced individual, not seeking validation from a partner. Men need a set of values and purpose, and a tribe that provides structure. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. I'm going to be going into kind of our commandments and our principles and what it means to be in part of this brotherhood, in this tribal brotherhood of the Blue Lion. So that's something that I recommend. Getting some structure and join the tribe right now in school. Click the link and enter into the tribe, and there's going to be more to come. There's going to be weekly tribal meetups, and I'm going to be showing you more things and more things about how people do it down here in South America where I live, in the tribal ways of life, and how to kind of bring them and integrate them into modern day Western culture, which is like very important right now. And this is not some toxic, weird tribe. It's like, this is about you empowering yourself. I want you to be able to empower yourself. I'm here to help you to outgrow some old behaviors and grow up into becoming a man, and it's a process. It's not something that just happens, but with the right people, with the right support, you'll be there, and you'll be so much more happy when you have some responsibility, when you have a good woman who is attracted to you and wants to be with you, and it's going to help you grow to get more work in life, to start more businesses, and these are things that maybe right now you don't think they're that important. Maybe you don't really care right now, but I'm telling you, they will. And once they start to matter, you realize that you have life purpose, and you will be a lot happier in your life. All right? Hey, join the Brotherhood, subscribe, and I really appreciate you guys. Austin is out. Peace.